Okay, welcome everyone back to Visionary New Earth Leaders podcast. We are so happy to have you here always. And today we have a wonderful guest here, Natasha Black, and I'm going to let this wonderful lady introduce herself. So right over to you.
So first of all, Gennye, thank you for having me on your podcast. It's always a delight to connect with you, see your beautiful face and connect with your energy. So thank you for having me today. So I am what I call a personal transformation activator, a life purpose activator. I basically activate people into their most truest and fullest potential and purpose. And I just love this work so much. It is very much about coming home to yourself. And I just love, with every ounce of my being, supporting particularly women to come back home to themselves. So I started off back in 2008 as a law of attraction coach and an emotional freedom techniques practitioner. Over the years, my work has evolved, but still includes that kind of, that kind of work. But most recently, I have certified in something called quantum human design. Now, quantum human design was always for myself. It was always for my own personal transformation. It was always for me to become the best vehicle through which my business could come through. And human design always supported me in expanding my business. I never, ever thought I was going to do this for anybody else. It was always only for me. And then back in 2021, I surprisingly felt within every ounce of my being that it was time to start specializing in quantum human design. So I started on level 1 in March of this year. So it's 2023 at the moment. I certified as a level 4 quantum human design specialist. I love bringing this to people so that they can align more fully with their deepest purpose, their deepest potential, what they are here to do on the planet. And for what I feel is just like such important work in the world, our human design really helps us to align to our purpose and to our business, and helps us have greater impact and greater reach with this incredible transformational work that we are here to bring to the world.
Absolutely. Oh, I love all the things that you're saying. I'm absolutely obsessed with all these things as well. It's like absolute junkie when it comes to understanding and learning. My thing is obviously soul contracts, but I wanted to say also thank you because Natasha, we connected and probably remember how it happened now, but I think maybe I reached out to you or something, but we did connect. And I had my quantum human design reading, and I have had my human design before reading. But honestly, it was really activating, actually, exactly what you said that you do. And I think there is, apart from the actual act of, reading the chart and delivering the knowledge, there is that activation piece. And actually, you confirmed that I am here to activate leaders. And I mean, come on, I had already decided the name of the podcast, which is Visionary New Earth Leaders. So it was just another massive confirmation for me. And I think with the work, as we call the work, like the way you call the work, is that we know intuitively a lot of things about ourselves, but it's almost like when we get permission and another layer of confirmation, another layer of activation, another layer of almost evidence, and boosting ourselves a bit, because it is very boosting to hear all the magical things that we're here to do. It's very, very important in our work. I feel we all need human design readings. We all need soul contract readings. But yeah, just wanted to say thank you as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're so welcome. So welcome.
Yeah. So today I wanted, so can you, because people are like, oh yes, I have heard of human design.
Mhm.
What's the difference? I kind of understand the difference, but maybe the listeners don't. So do you want to explain more about what's human design and quantum human design and
Yeah.
what how do we differentiate the both or
Yeah,
the two?
absolutely. So I had my first human design reading in 2014. And like what you're saying, I felt so validated having my chart read for the first time.
Mm,
And I also felt like there was that element of my secret self, like what you're saying, that had been given permission to be this person that I felt I was on the inside. And
mm,
it really gave me great clarity around, well, yeah, it's no wonder I am so in love with personal transformation because it's all over my chart.
mm,
But I didn't realize the depth of human design back then. I thought it was just like a reading. And the truth is, we can keep having readings and just keep going deeper into deeper levels of human design. So, where I started was with human design.
mm.
And human design was channeled by a guy called Ra 20 odd years ago. And it's a combination of I always miss one out, but it's a combination of the Chinese I Ching, the Kabbalah, the Hindu chakra system, quantum mechanics. So this is like, part spiritual, part scientific, a part scientific and part spiritual system. And for me, it was like, it was just brilliant. It was just, as I said, so confirming.
Mm.
But then a few years down the line, I started to feel very burnt out. Well, actually, I felt exhausted. I didn't realize I was burnt out. And human design came back into my life again. And it started to show me more about my conditioning, more about my, where I was living in my shadow, my unique shadow,
Mm.
where I was prone to behaving or running certain conditioned patterns in my life. And so that allowed me to go deeper into my chart to become more in alignment with my authentic self, because ultimately that's what our human design chart is. This is our soul curriculum. This is our authentic self. It is a map of our potential, a map of our purpose. And it shows us how we can become so aligned with our authentic identity and our authentic expression that our life and our businesses and relationships naturally unfold. But it was at that point, after doing some deep inner work, that I realized there's certain parts of my chart that I cannot get on with. Like there were certain terms in human design that I couldn't get on with. Now, the reason for that is quite simple, that human design came about, as Ra had said, to talk to the not self, to talk to the self that we are not. And it was using language so that we could really identify who we weren't. And the language in some places could be quite shocking and quite, and it was supposed to activate you to start doing this deconditioning work. Well, as time progressed, there were certain parts of myself that I still couldn't get along with, and felt like, if you look at it in that perspective, when you're not getting along with certain parts of your chart, actually what you are doing is rejecting yourself. You are not in acceptance of yourself. But I didn't know what to do with that. I had no other language for it. I hadn't, I wasn't certified, so I hadn't done any courses, but I really did want to learn more. And that's when quantum human design came into my life. I didn't go searching for it. It came to me. And quantum human design is basically human design, but more of an awakened language, a quantum language that Karen Curry Parker, who trained under Ra, she was one of Ra's students 20 odd years ago. She started to move her language out of the not self language into a higher frequency language. And the reason why she did that was because she realized that a lot of her clients that were now coming to her had already started to do a lot of their inner work. And this not self language it was more of a friction, because a lot of people didn't feel like that was them. And so she translated all of the language into quantum human design language. And that's when, after being with that language and really coming into a place of acceptance in the places that I wasn't accepting with the human design language, and I started to really integrate and embody that language and that awareness, that's when, after probably about 6 months, it was like, I've got to teach this. I've got to share this, because like you, a lot of our clients have already been doing the work.
Yes.
You know, they're not brand new to it. Some of our clients will be new to it.
Yeah.
But a lot of our clients have already been doing that inner work. They're already aware of themselves. And so, you know, that was probably a very long-winded way for me to explain.
No, but it's really interesting to understand, because for me, that really resonates a lot more, because I've been doing a lot of deep inner work and I'm more advanced in that. And I understand that I only want more elevating and sort of activating language that is going to move the needle for me, rather than looking at all the things that is not working, because I've worked through so much of the things that didn't work. So now it's all good, right? So it's almost like it's more empowering, spiritually empowering. And that I really loved that when I had the reading. Now, the other thing I'm so curious about, and so Natasha already sent me a really exciting document, and I think, yes, I read through it again when I was away, and it's so exciting. This is about leadership, and obviously this is Visionary New Earth Leaders podcast. So let's dive into how we can use human design for leadership, and how does that work, really? I'll leave it to you too.
Yeah, super. So we are all leaders in our own way. And the way I see it is, the first place that we are here to lead is to lead ourselves.
Yes.
That's it. Number one, we are leaders of ourselves, and we are here to take personal responsibility for ourselves and for our life. And that's why this work is just so very important. Now, when it comes to our work, the work that we're here to do in the world, what we can see in the human design chart is that there are what we call archetypes, themes in the chart, that we are here to live out some of those themes as our soul curriculum. So what that basically means is that the archetypes are on a spectrum. So there's the shadow leading up to the balanced, the masterful expression of the themes in the chart. So we do all have all of the chart, but they're not all parts of what we are here to work on as our soul curriculum. So what we see in the chart is that there are different types of leadership. So we have natural leadership, we have visionary leadership, we have democratic leadership. And so the majority of the people that we will work with will have some element of this defined in their chart. Now, not everybody will, but some people will have this defined. And what you'll see is that more often than not, there's a combination of those different types of leadership. Now, if we look at it from, you know, whoever is here working in the transformational field, in the spiritual growth field, we're all here to be leaders, because we are here to lead this, lead humanity out of the shit that we're in, for want of a better.
So yes, that's true. I mean, we are here to leave the old patriarchal paradigm behind, take the good parts of it that gave us structure and grounding, and then leave all the control behind, and then create a new world, like literally. Yeah,
literally, exactly. And so what human design does, it shows us how we as individuals are here to lead. And we all have our own unique gifts, our own unique genius. We all have our own unique skills, our own unique past experiences, and, you know, generational experiences, cultural experiences, that when you combine all of those things, they make us as individuals who we are.
Yes.
So when we look at the human design chart, what we really want to do is look at what is our way of leading. Because if we are leading the people, And when I say leading the people, it might just be that you're leading your children.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you have to look at, oh, I am this leader that has, millions of people that I am leading. No, it's first you're the leader of yourself, and then it could be that you're the leader of your little ones, or it could be, you're a leader of a team in work. It could be that you are here on public stages, speaking to millions, speaking to the masses. But what our leadership energy is it's unique to us, and we need to know what our contribution is.
Yes.
We need to know not just how we can best contribute, because a lot of the time what happens, Gennye, is, and I know that you'll know this with yourself and with other clients, is that often you don't see your own genius. You don't recognize your own gifts.
Yeah.
You think, oh, I can do this. It's easy for me. Why can't Jack do it? Yeah. Why can't my husband do this?
Yeah,
why
because it's not natural to them. And another thing that comes to me, and I don't want to interrupt, but what really comes through here when you're saying that is that also when we are out of alignment with that very piece, and then let's say we try to execute or implement something new in our business that is not what our leadership is, we are kind of banging our head against the wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've experienced that in 2021, because I was trying to implement something. And yes, I've always felt like I'm an empowerment sort of mentor, leader, new earth leader, like visionary leader. But I was trying to implement something that was, I wouldn't say is a bit out of alignment, yes. And it was like banging your head against the wall because it wasn't working. And I was like, oh my God, why is it not working? And then I had to just remind myself, and there's me done all this work in the work. And it was fine because I had somebody really helping me with this, and it's fine now. But what happened at that point was that I was out of alignment with my leadership.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, Gennye, is so important. And that's the point.
Yes.
This is the point.
Yeah, because not only is it annoying because you get strapped for cash flow because no one's signing up to your things that is out of alignment of what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
So it's nothing wrong with what you're doing. It's just not right, aligned. Yeah. And then you feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? That's what happened to me. But I shifted it around quite quickly, I'd say. But what I'm saying here is that I'm thinking many entrepreneurs probably will feel this way. They're like, I'm doing this thing and like it's doing my head in and it's not working. And I've tried for a year and something should be sticking now, but it's not.
Yeah.
This could be the piece. Yeah. I often feel.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And the thing is, what happens when we're out of alignment is not only do we face resistance, not only do things not work, but we burn ourselves out. And what I've come to see, not just in myself, but in lots of people that I've been working with and lots of people that I've been watching, burnout, we think burnout comes from doing too much. Actually, burnout comes from doing the wrong thing that is not aligned for us.
And in resistance.
Where the burnout comes from.
Yeah.
Say that again.
In resistance. Like you're doing it because your mind is telling you have to do this.
Yeah. You're
resisting it in your heart, but you're still doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, we all get hijacked. We all get hijacked. Yeah. We can be hijacked by, just basic survival things like, just maybe, from a monetary perspective, we can feel like, oh, I haven't earned enough money, or I'm not going to have my basic needs met, or whatever it is. And so the mind starts going because the brain is just so good at figuring stuff out, but it has a limited capacity of awareness as to what is correct for you. It will go into problem solving mode, but it doesn't necessarily mean that what it's come up with is going to be the best way of operating for you. Exactly. And so we can get hijacked by other people, by other people's challenges and issues. We can get hijacked by being looking at other people's work, looking at other people's websites and thinking, oh, they're doing better than me, or, there are just so many ways that we can get hijacked. And what I love about human design is it really gives us this understanding and awareness of how our particular energy works, how we best operate, and how the universe communicates to us, and how we get to allow our purpose and potential to unfold when we are aligned with the way that we best operate. And we're all different. And we're all here to operate differently. You and I are both generator types. So we have this physical energy to do the work. But the other types aren't necessarily, they're not here to work in the same way as us. And we've kind of, got to change this awareness and understanding in society of how people operate, because we're not all here to operate in the same way. And, for us as generators, typically, we are what we call the worker bees. We are the doers, we are the workers, but not everybody is supposed to work in the same way. There are some types that are here to get the ball rolling, that are initiators. There is there's one of the types, the projectors, that are here to lead, guide, and manage the rest of us. And then you've got the reflectors, who are here to reflect back to us the health of the community and how everybody is doing. And we all have our role in the divine tapestry of life. We are all here to serve in our little corner, and the way that we can come to be, and I don't really like this term, the best version of ourselves. I do, and I don't like that term, because it implies, it can have negative connotations.
Sure.
But what I'm saying here is being in alignment with yourself, so that you are not just, that I use those words at the beginning of the podcast, coming home to yourself.
Yes.
Where you are aligned with yourself, you are in your joy, you are in your gifts, you are, we don't always manage to do this all the time, but it's this real awareness of how we can best operate to fulfill what we've come here to fulfill during this lifetime. And we're all different.
Absolutely.
And we're not all here to speak on stages. Some women are here to be mothers, stay-at-home mothers. Some women are here to be in the police force. Some people are here to, we've all got our own unique role. There is no good, there is no bad, there is just who we are, and living in alignment with what our soul came here to do during this lifetime and the purpose of our life.
Yeah, I would love for you to, thank you so much for that. Absolutely. I would love for you to explain something that really helped me in entrepreneurship. And people listening to this are listening because they're either entrepreneurs or they are leaders already, or something like this, business owners. So what really helped me with human design was that as a generator, so I'm a sacral, I think, generator, yes. So I'm here to respond to invitations. And what I really learned from that was anything to respond from spirit. So like an invitation from my intuition, or an invitation from a human asking me something, and then take a little time to respond and decide, feel that in my sacral, and like, oh, that feels so good, I need to do it, right? And then take action and say yes, basically, and then take the action. So that really helped me for things like putting offers out. When I want to send an email, even, like, it helps me tune into what's the next step, and I'll get a message, and then I respond to it. We're doing the Leaders Big giveaway. That was a message I received, and as soon as I felt into it, it was huge. I was like, yes, we're doing it. I started texting people straight away. Do you know what I mean? So that's me as a generator. And some people be saying, oh my God, I'm a generator. Is that how? So kind of, that's how we're meant to be doing. Can you explain in simple form, from an entrepreneurial perspective? I know that the charts are different. So you've got reflectors, projectors, manifesting generators, manifestors, and generators, right? But can you explain a little bit how you're meant to behave in your own business? Because I know for reflectors, for example, they're not meant to do, they're not meant to do what a generator's doing.
No, for sure. So it will also so we have the 5 types that you've just mentioned, but we have different types of what we call inner authority, and our inner authority helps us to be able to make the decisions that are right for us, help us to make the decisions that are keeping us on our right path.
Mm-hmm.
So it will also be dependent on what somebody's inner authority is.
Mm.
But typically, like what I said, the manifestors, which are only around 8-9% of the population, these are the people who can really make things happen. These are the people that get the ball rolling. These are the people that have this direct connection to the universe, to source, to spirit. And they will have what we call this non-verbal creative flow that just comes in, that gives them this energy to act, this energy to make things happen. Now, for the manifestors, they are really quick. They're really fast off the bat.
Yeah.
And so for them, it's really important for them to stay in their creative flow, for them to inform others around what they are doing. Because if they're not informing, other people can come in, can stop them whilst they're in their creative flow, and can actually cause them to disconnect from their creative flow, and it can create an anger in them. And so their strategy is very much around informing, like having that flow, but informing before they get started. And that can be really difficult at times because it can feel like they're asking for permission. No, manifestors aren't asking for permission. They are just letting the people around them know what's going on so that they can get on with their creative.
Interesting. And this is so one of my mentors, he's also a mentor. He's a manifestor, and something came in through after his detox thing, and he went, "This is coming. I'm just informing you that I'm doing this." And I'm like, "Yes, I feel a big sacral yes for me." And then kind of I'm on this venture with him together, but so we're doing it.
Yeah.
And I was invited, and I was like, yes, so that's how like a manifestor could invite a generator, or do you know what I mean? Like in that sense. So that worked really well.
Yeah. So what happens here is that with all of the ways that we are here to all of our strategies as our different types, we're all here to interconnect.
Yes.
We all support each other in our roles.
Yeah.
We all work beautifully together. And so absolutely, he had this non-verbal creative flow that came through him. He's informed you. By informing you, he's given you something to respond to.
Yes.
You being a sacral generator, you have just felt so lit up and excited, and it's felt juicy.
Instant yes. It was like boom.
Yeah. And so for you, it's like exactly, it's an instant yes. Now, I'm a manifesting generator, so I am here to respond as well, but I have emotional authority. So with emotional authority, so projectors and manifestors can also be emotional authority. We have to wait before we act. We have to wait before we say yes. So had your friend been coming to me, I could have felt that sacral yes, as in I'm responding, my sacral is responding. But then I would need to ride out what's called my emotional wave. My emotional wave takes me through the highs and the lows and the neutrality. And it's through going through my wave that I need to check in with my sacral. Is this still a yes? And then once my emotional wave has completed, that's when I know whether that thing is actually right for me or not. So what I would have done is I would have said, oh my gosh, that sounds really exciting. I need to ride out my wave just to make sure that it's aligned.
That is aligned.
Yeah.
And so just for curiosity, when I invited you to the Leaders giveaway, is that what you did?
I didn't do that immediately. No, what I did do was you had said, okay, so I had sent you your leadership report. I asked you what you thought about it. You were reading it and you were going, yeah, and this and that. And then you were going, oh my gosh, yes, oh my gosh, I've just had this idea, I've just had this idea, and this and that, and da, 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 da. And so what's happened is, like, because you and I, we've both got the gate 16 in our charts.
Yeah.
And so we are just like these excited little bunnies, like we can just get so, like, we're just so full of enthusiasm. And when we're high, we're really high. So I was just like latching on to like your excitement.
Yeah.
And so I said yes to you straight away. I was like, yes, straight away. But what I've been doing over the period since we've spoke about it, I've been sitting with it and I've been looking at how can this chart work? And so I've allowed myself to go through that process.
Yes,
Yeah,
because we don't have a deadline until like May anyway, so there was loads of time for you to kind of process and feel. Yeah.
Exactly. And so because I keep coming back to this leadership report and looking at how can this best serve people, what do I want to add into it, and so I'm actually looking at how can I make this leadership report the best report that your people, once they get it in their hands, they're like, oh, this is so useful.
Gold.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if I had come, if I'd gone through my wave and I had felt like this isn't working, I can't, this isn't right, the energy isn't aligned, I would have come back to you and said, do you know what, on reflection, I don't feel that I can make this
Contribution, whatever.
Yeah, this contribute, whatever it is. And so a lot of the time, the way that I work is I will have already had these thoughts around manifestation. It's like I'm already having these thoughts around what I want to manifest and what would be great to manifest. And so I'm already working with those in my energetic field and feeling what is right, what is good, what's going to work for me, what's not going to work for me. So by the time opportunities do come up, most of the time I've been working with that energy prior to it. So then when it comes up, it's like, oh, well, yes, of course.
I just ordered that. Now it turns up. Oh, yeah, I love this so much. I love this so much. So we've talked a little bit about generators and then manifesting generators.
Yeah.
What's the strategy in entrepreneurship? I know this is just a little snippet, look, because everyone has to have their own reading, really. But is there a common theme, for the projectors and the reflectors that you would like to mention?
Yeah, so our projectors are only about 20% of the population. The projectors are here to lead, guide, and manage the rest of us. They're not here to work in the same way. They're not here to do the physical labor, although some of them can, because they will have some of them have different elements in their chart which give them extra energy, but they're not here to work in the same way as us. Now, the way that most projectors, I say most because, again, there's different types of authorities. Sure. The best way for a projector to be able to make a decision is to have a sounding board. Now, what I mean by a sounding board is to have certain people that they can go and speak to, where they can talk out what they've been actually, I needed to backtrack, but I'm just going to complete what I'm saying here. So they need to speak out the opportunities that they can hear their own voice, that they can feel it in their body, so that they are just talking it out and having people that they trust, not people who are going to try and coach them, not people who are going to come in with their own thoughts and ideas, but who are going to act as a sounding board for them and perhaps ask them questions to support them, so that they can come to their own decision. They're not asking for advice. They're speaking it out, having a sounding board so that they can come to their own decision. So, but with a projector, they are here to be recognized and to be invited. And so this is for the big things in life. So, if nobody needs to wait according to their authority. or according to their strategy. Nobody needs to wait, or if they want to go and eat, if they want to go to the cinema, if they want to do these small things, they're going to know what's right for them or not. Yeah, but this is for the big things. So for projectors, when it comes to relationships, moving house, perhaps even going on holiday, these kind of things, they need
or
to
the
be
business decisions.
Yeah. They need to be recognized and to be invited. And the thing is with projectors, what happens a lot is that in this world, in this society, because of the way that we operate, a lot of projectors have been doing the long hours at work. They're working like a dog horse. That's not right, is
dog
it?
horse.
Dog horse. That doesn't sound that doesn't sound right. But anyway, so they're working like a whatever, and they're burnt out and they're exhausted, and their self-worth is low, and so they're not getting the invitations. People aren't recognizing them. And the thing is with projectors, they can really see the potential in others. They can really see the potential of the world. And they just want to help people to fulfill their potential, and they've just got this real wisdom and insight that they can feel compelled to share it with people when people aren't ready for it. And so they can feel like they're not seen and they're not heard. They can feel exhausted, like their energy is completely burned out. And so with a projector, a healthy projector, a compelling projector, they are standing strong in their self-worth. They are very well rested. They are really looking after their energy. I mean, this goes for all of the types,
of course,
but for projectors, the thing for them is they want to be invited. They need to be invited by the other. And so what I really love is to invite other projectors into so I'm starting a new program using human design, and I've just invited a projector to come in as part of the program. And I love doing that. I love just inviting anybody, because then with your if you're inviting a generator, you're giving them something to respond to, and so back to the projectors, they want to be invited, but the universe in her wisdom knows when we're all burned out, and when we give those opportunities to us. And also our auras are going to be so closed in because we don't have the energy, that we're not going to be projecting the energy.
No, that is attracting the invitation. Exactly. That is such an important piece. I mean, I think so I don't know any projectors, but I can see how I have a friend actually who's an entrepreneur, and she is really taking care of her energy now, but she used to be burnt out. So I think she was doing what you just said there, actually. So what about the reflectors before we finish?
So reflectors, there's only 1% of reflectors. And these beautiful energetic beings, they take in the energy of everybody, and then they reflect back the health of the community that they're in. They reflect back how well everybody is doing. And when they make decisions, they have to wait a whole lunar cycle.
So wow.
And sometimes for the even bigger things, they need to wait out maybe 2 or 3 lunar cycles. And this isn't how we operate in our world. And so you can imagine just how difficult it has been and how difficult it is being a reflector, and people wanting decisions made like this. People wanting, what's your answer, are you going to do this, are you going to do that? And it just really puts our reflectors out of alignment. But when we are using our energy correctly, all of the types, when we know how our energy works, when we know some of the intricacies of our own human design, and we know how to operate, when we start living more in alignment with our true authentic selves, these ways of making decisions actually start to feel really good.
Yeah.
And so a healthy reflector will be like, of course I am waiting a lunar cycle before I make a decision.
Yeah.
You know, as an emotional manifesting generator, of course, when it comes to the bigger things, especially if it's not something that I've considered before, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait out my wave, because how many times before I knew about human design did I make a decision and said, yes, I'll do that when I'm high on my wave. And then a few weeks later, I'm kind of like going, oh shit, why did I say yes to that? Like that's the last thing that I want to be doing. But then you're so caught up in it, you find it difficult to say no, and people are depending on you and this and that. And so when we really learn how our energy operates, our energy codes, how we live in integrity with ourselves and our energy, things just really start to
absolutely. I mean, I can relate. Look, so I am a generator in sacred authority. So sometimes it's a big yes straight away, but sometimes I also want 48 hours to respond. Do you know what I mean? I don't respond straight away, always.
Yeah.
What would you say there? Because I would then come back to the idea and it will still feel really exciting.
Yeah.
So that's my answer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't have to respond straight away.
Right? No, and absolutely not. You don't have to. And sometimes the way that the sacral works, the sacral bypasses the mind. The sacral is within the body, so it's not a yes coming from the head. It's a physical feeling. It's coming from the body. And so that and actually it's a vibration, it's a sound, and it really works with yes or no questions. So when you're really tuning into your sacral, you want to ask people to ask you questions that have either a yes or a no answer. So saying something like, do you want to come into my team and share soul contracts, or would you prefer to do coaching? Well, that's not a yes or no question. It's an either or.
Yeah.
So you would want to ask them individually, do you want to come into my team and share soul contracts? Do you want to come into my team and coach?
Yeah.
And sacral is going to respond with
which one?
Yeah. And so sometimes in that moment, when that person is asking you the question, it might not be the right thing for you. So whilst you might feel, oh, yes, it might not be the right thing for you at that particular time. But then a couple of days later, it very well could be, when somebody's asking you the question again. So it really depends. Like, you do not have to say yes or no in the moment.
No.
You don't want to use human design in such a rigid way that we feel like, oh, this is the exact way that we've got to do it. It's like, no, you do it your way. You use human design as a system that can help you understand yourself better, understand how you make decisions better. But ultimately, ultimately, it's down to you.
Yeah.
You know you.
Exactly. And what I'd love to add here as well, which I've been looking a little bit on social media lately, I've been seeing just talking about nervous system regulation. People talk about it a lot. And yes, I agree with it, but it's not just the nervous system. We have all the other functions of the body as well, not just the nervous system, but it kind of makes sense. And what I was reading about was how to make your buying decisions on coaching or investing in things, and this gold rush, of the coaching, where everyone's like, here's my offer, and it's the best one, and if you buy it now, then you're gonna like make 10K tomorrow. That kind of thing is going away, and I think that was preying a lot on people's sacral feelings and these things. So I feel that human design also can help us to buy correctly.
Absolutely.
As well. And I think it's so important because, it's got integrity as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And also not just us buying, but us selling as well. I remember years and years ago, so it would have been in about 2009, And I was in a mastermind, and one of the things that we were taught, which is widely used today, is like a fast action bonus, giving somebody a fast action bonus and saying, if you sign up today, you will receive the fast action. And so this was like 2009, and so I'd done a strategy call with a woman, and she'd been following me for some time, and she'd filled out the application a couple of times, and this time round she was obviously ready to buy. And so I did the strategy call with her, offered her the fast action bonus, fast action price for signing up. That I said, like, within, I think I said that night or 24 hours, something like that. And she didn't come back to me. She said, well, let me come back to you. And she didn't come back to me. And then she came back to me about a week later, and she said, look, I really want to do this with you, but I felt really pressured with the fast action thing. And it just didn't feel like right or good, but I do want to work with you. Will you still offer it me at that price? And so I thought about what she said, and I was like, well, yes, okay. And this woman ended up coaching with me for over 12 months. So she started off on the 6-month package, and then, she kept signing up. Actually, it was about 18 months. Now I understand it. She would have been emotional authority. I've never gone back to look at her chart because I don't have her birth details, but she would have been emotional authority. She can't make those decisions in the moment.
No, exactly. And I also feel that I know that we were not maybe meant to talk about this today, but now we are. But I also feel that when people do come to work with you and me, and probably people doing the kind of things that we do, it's like a whole body decision. Doesn't matter if there is a fast back bonus or not, because they're going to do it or not. It's like, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a decision made from a different place. You're not doing it to get a bonus. Do you know what I mean? You're doing it because you want it.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference.
Yeah. And also, people are either in the market to buy off you or off somebody, or they're not. And it's as simple as that. And we all know now that our energy walks into the room before we do, and that's what people are connecting with. They are connecting with our energy. And using all those tactics that we used to use, like, people are just becoming wise and savvy, and they want to work with people who are authentic. And I know that's a buzzword at the moment, and it has been for a couple of years, but it's the truth. People want to connect with you and with your heart and with your energy,
and they will do it.
And
they'll find the money, or they will just do it. Doesn't matter. They don't really care about the bonuses. They just want the thing that you that you wanted to, that you're selling. Okay, so let's round this one up. So why don't you share with us where people can find you, and then we round up.
So you can come and find me on Facebook. I think you've probably got my links.
Gosh, I have all the links below, so we obviously have that. But what's the best place?
I would probably say come and find me on Facebook or LinkedIn.